This is a quick tutorial for accessing student PowerSchool information. First, you'll need to log into PowerSchool using the admin access. There are two ways to gain access to student login information. One will find you information for a single student, and the other will allow you to create a list for your entire class. First, we'll cover the way to find login information for a single student. To access information for a single student, start by locating the student in PowerSchool. Once you have selected the student, look under the Information section on the left-hand side of the page and locate the selection that says Custom Screens. Once you're in the Custom Screens section, select PowerSchool Login. When you see the PowerSchool Login screen, you will see both parent and student access. Make sure that you select the Student Web ID and Student Web Password to give to the student. While 10th through 12th grade students have passwords that are randomly assigned, the incoming 9th grade student passwords should have been regularized to help prevent the need to look up this information as frequently. 9th grade students should have passwords that consist of the first 6 digits of their birthday. For example, a student with a birth date of July 5th, 2000 would have a password of 752000. Knowing this may help eliminate the need to look up forgotten passwords for our 9th grade students. Now you know how to access individual student information, but what if you need to access an entire class? I'll walk you through those steps now. I'll be using Internet Explorer for this demonstration because it's the easiest to use for this particular function. Firefox requires several additional steps, and Chrome has a glitch that hasn't been resolved, so I'm using Internet Explorer for now. In order to access information for an entire class, or several classes for that matter, you need to go back to the PowerSchool home screen and select Teacher Schedules from the menu on the left. Scroll through the list of teachers until you find the desired teacher and click on the name. You will then see a list of classes. You can use this list to select one or more classes for which to gather this information. I'll select 2 classes of students as an example, but the process works the same way for a single class, minus the steps of adding the second class. Click on the number under Enrollment in order to see the list of students in the class. When you see the list, you have a couple of choices. You can select all students, or you can select only specific students. If you're printing the list to hand out to students or to keep for your records, you'll probably want to select all students. However, if you have, say, half a class of students who need their PowerSchool information, you might decide to select only those students and get their information this way, rather than looking them up individually. For this example, I'm going to select all of the students in the class. To do that, I scroll down to the bottom of the page and click Make Current Student Selection. Once I click on Make Current Student Selection, I get directed to the Group Functions screen. You can see the number at the top of the screen, indicating that I have a group of 40 students selected. In order to add a second class to the list, I go through the same process: Teacher Schedules, Find Name, Select Class. This time, however, I need to click on Add to Current Student Selection. Once I clicked on Add to Current Student Selection, I was again automatically directed to the Group Functions screen. From here you can access a number of features, but for this you'll need to go to the Export section and click on Quick Export. In the Quick Export page, you will need to tell the system what information you want exported. You will do that by clicking in the Fields area and selecting the fields you want access to. I usually use the student's last name, first name, student web ID, and student web password. You will need to scroll through the list of fields to find them, or you can take a shortcut and type them in on individual lines, using capital letters at the beginning of each word and underscores between words. Either approach works just fine. Once you've provided the computer with information about the data you want to access, click Submit. Depending on which browser you use, you will get a series of prompts about the way you want to open and access the file. The important information you need here is that the computer needs to understand what kind of file you're opening. In Internet Explorer, when you get this dialog box, you will click on Save and select the Save As option. You will then get the Save As screen, and you need to tell the computer to open the file as an Excel file. You will do this by naming your file and adding .xls at the end of the file name. I'll name this file studentwebid.xls, then click Save. You can see I get another box at the bottom of the screen with more options. Now I'll select Open. If you get a message like the one that just popped up, just click on Yes and keep going. The computer just wants to make sure you made the right choice. Now you have your list of information. You can keep the list as it is if you're keeping it for your records, or you can increase the font size and distribute strips with individual information on it to students.